we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me just make sure my settings are good. Perfect. All right. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. And today we're going to be covering Caleb Harris. We've been covering him a lot lately. It has now been 4 months since he went missing. 4 months and 1 day, technically. And from those that have been covering this case, it did find remains. They have not been identified, but we have a poll going on right now, and it seems like right now, let's see, where is it at? Do you think the remains found nearby are Caleb Harris? Right now we got 75% think they are, 2% no, and a quarter of you think are not sure, which I agree with those odds. I mean, the fact that you have somebody missing and then remains found literally yards away from where that person went missing, although again, the remains have not been identified yet and will probably take a while because, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, a lot to go over. Quickly, before we get started though, let's see, bring this over. There we go. We always like to get back by featuring the missing. Today we've got Madalina Cojocari. This is a terrible case. She went missing November 21st. It's been over 2 years. November 21st, 2022. Her mother, Diana, is considered a suspect in her disappearance. She went missing out of North Carolina. So if you do have any information about her whereabouts, you can call 704-892-7773. All right. So anybody who's not familiar with Caleb Harris' case, I will play just a quick recap video. It's just 2 minutes, and then we'll go over all the information. And then I came across another video that was done by the lady that found the manhole open, and yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's a video that I had seen, but I didn't understand the context to it. And now kind of watching it, we'll go over that. It's kind of interesting. So I'll quickly just play the recap real quick. Let's see.
Police, volunteers, and family members continue to search for 21-year-old Texas A&M Corpis Christi student Caleb Harris. He has been missing since Monday.
He wanted to address, he asked me if I would send this message to all the cyber sleuths, people in the true crime community that really do care about. They are getting to a point, law enforcement is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime mystery to the missing. Caleb Harris, a 21-year-old college student out of Corpus Christi, Texas, went missing on the early hours of March 4th, sometime just before 3 a.m. He just vanished. He was last seen with his roommates, caught on this ring cam, walking their new dog. This was taken at approximately 1 a.m. in the morning. Shortly later, Caleb Harris would order Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. along with Snapchatting with his sister. Then after that, he sent his final Snapchat picture, which was received by his friend at 3:03 a.m., which shows a foggy picture of a bridge which was taken just outside his apartment complex located here. The next day, the roommate awoke to find that Caleb Harris was missing and that his Uber Eats order was still sitting outside. So what actually happened to Caleb Harris? And more importantly, what is this new lead that law enforcement allegedly has? First, we need to go back to the timeline and take a closer look as they learned Caleb Harris's phone went dark at 2:58 a.m. This time is crucial, as this means this photo that Caleb took had to have been taken just before 2:58 a.m., meaning sometime between ordering Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. and 2:58 a.m. when his phone went dark, something terrible happened to Caleb Harris. Jennifer Coffindaffer, who is a former FBI agent, has been covering this case and has been speaking with the family and doing many interviews. Although it's been nearly 3 months since Caleb's disappearance and no major developments in the case, it has not gone cold. According to Coffindaffer, in her latest interview, it seems law enforcement has a lead, and if by chance that lead doesn't pan out, they will release some kind of details to the public.
Is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community.
So what could this lead be that law enforcement allegedly has? Many feel like Caleb Harris was abducted by someone, likely with a vehicle. Luckily, there are plenty of street surveillance cameras around in that area, but unfortunately, it was really foggy that night. So it's possible they have surveillance footage of a suspicious vehicle or person, but perhaps it's too difficult to see due to the fog. There's also mention of a Reddit account which was used as like a hookup app. It's rumored an account used by Caleb was using this Reddit app to meet up with somebody that night, but this count has not been verified by the family. Considering Caleb had no wallet, keys, nor shoes, it seems odd that he would leave to meet up with somebody, but it's certainly possible.
Tonight, human remains have been found not far.
Okay, so that's just a quick recap. Make sure I got my settings right. Okay, there we go. So quick recap there, and I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. Somebody said that their son went to school with Caleb. Oh, I'm so sorry. I said prayers for the family. Can't imagine what they're going through right now. So here is what they found. So it'll be 2 weeks coming this Monday when they found remains. I think it was, I want to say June 24th. I have to go
Far from where a new
look back at the calendar here.
Braunfels man went missing in Corpus Christi. Now, Corpus Christi police confirming tonight that the remains were found in a water lift station. The collection point is 40 feet deep and had to be drained to recover the remains. Now, to be clear, there's been no confirmation that the remains belong to 21-year-old Caleb Harris, who you see here, who mysteriously disappeared from his apartment in March. We'll, of course, continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as we learn them here on air and online at KENS5.com.
Confirms the discovery of human remains inside a waste.
So the big question is it Caleb? Obviously, we're going to have to wait possibly up to 6 weeks. But the remains for
3.5 hours, just because they were
new to the case or haven't heard this part. Let me turn this down a little bit. They were found very close. What's called a lift station. It's they found the body or the remains in a well. The lift station is something that's attached to the wastewater sewer line. Basically, you have a bunch of lines that come into this station. It uses kind of gravity and then pumps the lines back up to the higher elevation, and then the pipes kind of go back down using gravity. And anyway, what's very interesting is, so we have remains that are found in this location. Now, this is fenced off, and from what I've heard a couple of reports, and it almost looks like we can see one here, but I'm not 100%. But somebody claims that they have looked at this place and say that they are cameras there. I don't know if there's anybody that can confirm that in the chat, but I have seen a couple of reports in the Facebook group saying that they have cameras, and it does look like this one right here is a camera, but I'm not 100% sure. So, the question would be, in my opinion, the two main ways that the body could get there is either it got there via this location, which is either by someone breaking in, or say Caleb broke in and fell down in there. I highly doubt that, but it's certainly possible. Everything's on the table. Or someone broke into it and dumped the body in there. And then you would have scenario B, which would be the body ended up in the sewer line, which just so happens that there's not a lot of sewer line that's upstream, so which would flow downstream into this. The only places really is the Corpus Cottage apartments and a couple other lines due south that flow into the station. And then, of course, there's a manhole that is close by that is open. And this other video that I came across that is, I believe, from the same lady that it's been kind of coming out and, trying to help search, that discovered this. Like I said, she has two videos, and we'll play the second one. I thought it was very interesting because it gives a lot of detail and actually shows like what it looks like down there. And anyway, it's pretty wild. So I'll just play this report real quick, and then we'll get into everything here.
They were found at a wastewater lift station Monday night. The station is just about a couple of hundred yards away from the apartment belonging to New Braunfels college student Caleb Harris. Harris hasn't been seen since March. The medical examiner is working to identify the remains. We're also learning DNA was sent to the University of North Texas to be tested. Police say they have searched this area many times after Caleb's disappearance, but recent rains may have uncovered the remains.
So here's just kind of a look at where he went missing, where his last little Snapchat was, which was just, right outside his apartments there. Although the message was sent at 3:03, that's when probably the person, his friend, received it. So it wasn't actually sent because the phone was dead at 2:58, which I explained in the video earlier. So to me, going off the timeline that we have with the last few phone pings or with the timeline itself, you have him walking his dog one more time. And then he shows part of that video in a Snapchat, and he sends that to his sister, and that's at 2:45. Sorry, my nose itches. And then from there, you have the 2:58 where the phone just goes dead. Either turned off or, in my opinion, more than likely destroyed in some way. But it could have been turned off. We don't know. But that just leaves 13 minutes, really, if you break that down. The dog is fine. I notice a lot of people, because there's always people that are coming into these cases, and they always ask about the dog. The dog is fine. He walked it. So we see a video, which is kind of the infamous video where we see him with his friends or roommates. That was taken at 1 a.m. They had walked the dog. They had gotten that dog that day. That dog was technically the roommates, although everybody was going to share it was going to be Caleb's dog too. But anyway, yeah, Caleb would walk it one more time around 2:44, 2:45, and then send the Snapchat. And then something happened within those 13 minutes until his phone goes dead at 2:58. And then the remains that were found were just very close by. I want to say like 20 yards, somebody said. But very, very close. Again, they have not identified the remains. Sadly, there are some pictures and videos of the remains that apparently the people that were there, they took a video and a picture. I have came across it because it lingers in one of the Facebook groups. I'm not going to talk much about that in respect to the family, but other than that, the remains appear semi whole, but it's really hard to tell. So again, this is where he was last seen, and the well station, the lift station, is literally right there, just across the street. It's like a half a block away. It's just across this field here. What's interesting is we have. This is the all right. So this is a video that I showed you guys the first time, and then there's actually another video that she uploaded, and I can't tell if it's from the same day, or if it's a different day. But I'll play this one first so I can get to chat, and then the other video actually shows them videotaping the actual sewer itself. Like they put the camera kind of, pointing down into the manhole. It's actually kind of interesting.
I just uncovered it.
Brian, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate the support, buddy.
No, nobody brought him here. I'm just saying, like, maybe he could be stuck in the sewer. Maybe he fell in that one, and he shimmied his way through the tunnel or something down to...
So, just a little context. He went missing March 4th. From what I understand, this video, they went out there in April. I'm not sure, because the video, I think this one said it was uploaded April 16th, but could have been taken, a week earlier. But it seems like April would be the target time frame of when these videos were taken, I would assume.
To this one.
So that would be a month
and he's
that
stuck
he'd been
in here.
missing.
Maybe he hit his head falling down. And he's stuck in there.
But they come across this manhole that is uncovered. And it looks like there's three of them, three manholes. I think she says that in the video as well. But there's three manholes, but one of them is uncovered. And as you can see, there's the apartments right there. And then if they were to just turn left, that is where the lift station would be, probably 15, 20 yards from where they're at. And this is not a storm drain. This is a sewer line. We did go through and look at the blueprints and notice this line's perfectly right up with the
There's a lot of Flintstones here in Corpus Christi.
Gail, her good to see you. You're doing well.
You don't wear shoes either. I don't know.
Thank you so much for the Mob Crew membership. You are so sweet. Thank you so much.
I don't know, but I'm going to take this manhole cover off. They didn't look
very top.
missing either.
There you are.
I just uncovered it.
So here's just kind of a top-down view. I know we've kind of gone over this, so I'm just going to go over this fast so we can watch the other video. But this is kind of where it was taken. And if you can see, it's a straight line right to the well station. And then here's a video with the news reporter talking about the remains found. And we'll kind of talk about that well station a little bit more. Tom says, thanks for all your hard work. Love your content and your cause. Keep up the good fight, brother. Thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate it. We will talk about our upcoming trip for Aiden as well. And the support we've been given with that. We'll definitely talk about that here in a bit.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and it was from right outside of there that he disappeared on March 4th. We have brought you this story through the last couple months. We've talked with police here in Corpus Christi, and we've talked many times with Caleb Harris's family. And all they want is their loved one back. I spoke with Randy Harris, Caleb's father, earlier. He says they are hoping and praying it was not Caleb that was pulled from here.
So again, just an overview on the map. We've got where she's reporting from, which is the lift station, where the manhole is at, which is there. It's pretty easy if you go on Google Earth, Google Maps. It definitely sticks out. It's clearly something that they, I'm assuming whoever farms there or whatever, clearly cuts the grass or whatever around that area. So there's always like this circle. But if we were to go to the this little sewer line to the right here, all this here is the apartments that you see here. Notice there's nothing coming from them, so these are kind of where they all start. So this tells you that they're downstream, that they're going this way here. and I was able to kind of figure out how to tell if it was going upstream and downstream. It took me a bit, but so we did confirm that that is a sewer line. It does flow this way, and there's actually a video showing the water flowing that way even, and that is a sewer line. So the question would be, like I said earlier, is in my opinion, you've got two scenarios. Either the body was dumped or ended up there, by himself, or foul play. Again, you would have to go through possibly a gated locked fence with barbed wire on it, and apparently cameras that are at that location, which would be, in my opinion, it's not possible, but I think it's pretty risky. Or you have scenario B, which would be this, where a body either was dumped down here, or the person fell in and eventually ended up at the well station. So this is a video I was talking about, and it's kind of, it's a little weird because they talk about how they hear some noises coming from this. And from what I understand, this is taken in April, so I don't know if somebody, if he'd been missing for a month and he was down there for a whole month, I don't think he would be still alive at that point.
That might be him, Mom.
Wait, it might be him knocking?
Yes.
Could be.
Maybe there's like an air pocket down there.
So this is the sewer line. I didn't know this when I first saw this video. I thought this was just kind of a different video. I didn't even, I guess I was looking at other stuff, blueprints. But this is it. This is the open manhole. And what was interesting is I noticed between the two videos, there's always that cone. And it tells me that I wonder, whoever's property this is, I wonder if they leave this literally open like this, which to me is not good. This is dangerous.
Kind of like that Mr. Ballin video.
You think he's been down there for a whole month?
I'm talking about Mr. Ballin.
People can't survive without food.
Well, there's a snake living on the side of the wall over here. I mean, come on.
Okay, I just gotta... I respect what these people are doing because these are people coming out searching for Caleb, but what they talk about, I'm just gonna warn you guys, the language is a little bit...
This is possible. He could have eaten snakes.
Maybe. People will do some fucked up things to survive. There was a story about a guy in Africa that ate his own excrement.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that down a little bit.
Yeah. Rabbits do that. Desert jackrabbits do that.
David, Alex, stop. You can't bang. It's not gonna bang. Okay.
But I thought that was really interesting.
I'm trying to get
that she's trying to. Right when she starts the video, she says like that. She was trying to capture some kind of banging noise, which again, it's been a month. If he had fell in like right on March 4th, I don't think you'd survive. I mean, you need water after 4 days.
Banging on video, but it's not banging. No, Alex, that damn snake's gonna bite you. Come on, let's go. Here, Alex, get your back. I'm gonna try to send this to his parents.
So notice, this is what I found very interesting. Notice that orange cone that's sitting by it. So that, to me, I'm just assuming, I don't know 100%, but it's possible that means, that cone's there for a reason, to warn people there's an open manhole cover. So it makes me wonder if that's something that whoever owns this property leaves that manhole open. Again,
but I can
I don't know. That's to me that just seems kind of reckless.
See, look, I saw this on Google Maps. This little area, and we're trying to find the Caleb Harris, and so I just decided to check it out in real life. And so, look, and I believe.
So I put the car over it because it shows her face, and I don't want to show her face and stuff.
I believe he fell in the sewers. It happened to a friend of mine once, and he fell like 19 foot and was down there like for 12 hours until finally somebody heard him scream. And
every time anybody does a video, I wonder if that's just kind of naturally windy out there.
Totally see Caleb looking at his maps. He's an avid outdoors person, and looking at his maps and wondering what this anomaly on the maps was. Alex, please get back. Please
No,
get
this
back.
is a sewer line, Boston. This is what we were talking about. This is the line. You can see the water flowing. I mean, that's a sewer line. This is confirmed. And it runs to this lift station that is right here. And it is downstream. And so, again, let me go back to the video here.
People can't survive without food.
Well, there's a snake.
I mean, I don't know if he could drink sewer water and maybe survive another month or something. I mean, that sounds absolutely terrible, but I don't think we can't discount the possibility that that could be a scenario that happened. Either the body was dumped or he fell in. I mean, it was foggy out that night. We know he was out there. I don't know. It just, I don't think it's a coincidence that these people had found this, this open manhole. And then the fact that it has a cone by it tells me that this is most likely something that's left open. Which again, I don't know why they would do that. Again, seems kind of dangerous because if this was the case that somebody fell in, you know, and I'm not sure how deep that is. I forget. I know we have measurements, but knock yourself out, and then by the time he gets up, or I mean, maybe broke a leg or something, so he can't do anything, and maybe people can't hear him, and then unfortunately he succumbs to the elements, and then eventually the body just slowly goes through the sewer line to this lift station, which, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. That open manhole is bizarre to me. It really is. To me, like, again, we don't know. We're still, you know, we don't get ahead of ourselves, but let's say in a theoretical, if that was the case, I wonder if a lawsuit would be in order, because, I mean, that seems pretty dangerous. Again, we know it was very foggy that night. Very, very foggy. So this sewer line, we went over this. This is 15 inches in diameter. I know there's been a lot of people taking pictures. If you... Oh, I don't have my measuring tape. I was doing it to myself, but usually you're like shoulder to shoulder. You're kind of like 16 inches wide, or like a little bit more. But there are people like this video here where this guy, don't worry, I know it says trigger warning. This guy's fine. But he was in a sewer line. I can't tell what size that is, but my guess would be a 15-inch diameter. But if it was now like remains, you know, that slowly started the body started slowly degrading, then kind of slowly started making its way through there slowly, kind of like this here. So maybe he fell in or was dumped in there, and then through time, as the body kind of degraded a little bit, it then started flowing into the lift station, and then I don't know if they ever said that they were warned, and that's why they came out, or if it was just that time of the month or year or whatever that they come out and check this lift station, and that's when they found the body. I don't know if they had addressed that or not. But anyway, but again, yeah, so here's me just kind of double checking the diagram, and this is definitely flows towards the lift station. We figured that out. So again, it really comes down to two scenarios. Was he dumped at the well station itself? But I'm going to play a news clip here in just a second, talking about what they discovered when they got there. So I'll play that here in just a second. So either he got there via directly there, or his body flowed there. So let me... okay, this is a bit part that I wanted to play.
provided by the NSW.
Oops, sorry.
The layout shows the
Learned that the waste discovered
Okay, here we
earlier
go.
this week was locked when a city worker made that discovery. Now that means someone would have needed a key to get to where the wet well is located. It was just after 3:30 Monday afternoon when the discovery was made at the Perry Place wastewater lift station. It is one of 105 lift stations in the city. Investigators with CCPD say the remains have been sent to the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification for DNA analysis.
So here's the other one that's very interesting
Begin
too.
tonight with new developments surrounding the human remains found at a city wastewater lift station on Monday.
The location of the remains fueling speculation of whether it could be connected to the mysterious disappearance of 21-year-old TAMU-CC student Caleb Harris, last seen at his apartment just a couple hundred yards away.
Our Alexis Green has spent the day following up with police and city water officials to learn more about this finding. She joins us now live from that lift station. Alexis?
Hey, Mike and Leslie, there are more than 100 of these wastewater lift stations spread out across the city of Corpus Christi. But the one I'm standing in front of is the Perry Place station, where, according to Police Chief Mike Markle, a city employee came across human remains yesterday around 3 p.m. Now, there is no evidence that suggests that this has anything to do with the disappearance of Caleb Harris. However, he was last seen at his college apartments, the Cottages, on March 4th, which is just walking distance from where we are right now. Now, what I can tell you, we're going to walk you through what we know to be true. What we do have confirmed is that CCFD worked several hours until at least 1 in the morning trying to recover the remains. We can also confirm that this discovery led police to the Greenwood wastewater treatment plant, where they continued their investigation. We can confirm that Corpus Christi Water is part of the ongoing investigation, and because of that, declined to speak with us. We did reach out to them to learn how often these wastewater lift stations are checked. We also know that, according to Corpus Christi Police Chief Mike Markle, the remains are going to be sent to the University of North Texas, which is the missing persons clearinghouse for our state. As of today, it is still unclear how the remains ended up at this wastewater lift station or how long they've been here.
So in that first report, if you guys didn't hear, she said that they were, the person that arrived said this place was locked down. So it was locked when they got there. So not saying it's not somebody that could have broken in there. But again, that kind of leaves us with two scenarios. Now, somebody said it's too small for him to fall in. George, I would disagree. It's a manhole. It's made for a man to go down in there if they need to repair something. Now, if you're talking about the pipes down in there, the bodies have been found in sewer pipes. So, again, I'm not an engineer, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but it's definitely he'd be able to fall in that. You can see a kid that's kind of his size looking down. He could definitely fall in there, and it looks like it's a good maybe 10-15 drop, maybe 8 to 12 foot drop. I think that'd be a little bit more accurate. Tom says, my biggest question is, why would he walk into that field? There's a fence. No fence around that field. No. How many pets fell in? Yeah, I know. I mean, it's kind of a more open, desolate area. How far was this from his last known whereabouts? Was that last picture from the field? Yeah, this is close. For those that are, let me pull up an image here. I mean, we're talking yards from his last known location. That's why I think it's certainly a possibility that can be entertained that somebody could have dumped him in there or dumped the remains in there, or whoever this is fell in there. But I mean, we're talking, I mean, look at, this is where he took the Snapchat. You can see although this is not the best photo here. I mean, we're talking, I could pull up Google Earth. I think it's like 10, 15 yards from his last known location. So, did he kind of walk and then come back, cut over, and then was like, ooh, what's this thing over here? And then, fell in? Or was he attacked and then they came back and dumped him down there. I mean, as I said, so many. Certainly, couple
now, I can also
possibilities.
confirm that I did speak with Caleb Harris's father, Randy Harris, and he is aware of these developments, and he is waiting on the results of the medical examiner's office coming up.
But that looks like a camera right there. Again, I don't know 100%, but I have seen a couple of people mention that this place has cameras. So again, if we're working down the, kind of break this down into, sorry, I'm trying to get to the beginning here.
Coming up at 6, Chief Mike Markle is going to explain just how long that process can take. Back to you guys.
So if we break it down to just the core basic information and scenarios, we have scenario 1, someone broke into this and either dumped the body by placing him down in the well, which if it was somebody dumping a body, I would think it would take probably 2 people. I mean, Caleb, he's a full adult. Dead weight is a lot for one person to be dragging a body. So I would think if you were going to do that, it would take maybe 2 people to take him and dump him down this well. And again, how did they get access to this? And why would you dump a body there? Not to say it couldn't happen. It's certainly possible. So that's one scenario. But in my opinion, I mean, that seems like a lot of work to dispose of a body, dumping it through there. Especially if they do have cameras, then I think they would know probably right away, and they would probably advise the public, like, hey, we've got footage of somebody, or maybe they probably wouldn't say anything. Or the second scenario would be the body ended up in the sewer, and then either was dumped or it was an accident, and then maybe he was down there for a bit in the I forget what they call it. It's kind of like a chimney in that area. Maybe he was down in that area for a bit. If it was an accident, I guess. And then maybe the body slowly started to degrade and then started flowing through the sewer line and then ended up there. Let me know what you think in chat, but I'll play that video again. I did slow it down and try to brighten it up. Yeah, here it is right here. But it is kind of wild that they were out here. She said she was looking on Google Earth, and you do. I mean, when you're looking on Google Maps, it sticks out. I mean, let me just pause it here. I mean, I'm sure this is probably what they did. Is they're like, okay, he was last seen here. Let's take a look at this map, and then they're like, oh, what the hell is this? Because this definitely sticks out. And so that's what it sounds like from the video. That the lady that went out there kind of explained in her video. Foggy night, maybe the water flowing in the sewer caused a column of darker fog, and he could have walked over to see what it was. Yeah, so many, I mean, I think it's definitely a scenario that has to be entertained, at the very least. Either accidental or foul play. And the fact that this video shows the cone tells me that, I mean, why would you have a cone there unless maybe you purposely leave this manhole cover off for whatever reason. Connie, thank you so much for the $10. So here I'm trying to I think I brighten it up a little bit just to see if we can see anything. It looks like the flow of the water is going fairly smooth, but again, I'm not an engineer, so I can't. But I was just wondering, unfortunately he didn't have his shoes, because I would think maybe if it was an accident and he had his shoes on, maybe you would see his shoe sitting down there, and that would be kind of But then again, I don't know. Maybe the shoe would probably just go right through the sewer line as well. Anna, good to see you. Wouldn't the pipe have been clogged if a person was stuck in it? I mean, again, I'm not an engineer, so I couldn't say one way or the other. You would think, but I don't know. If the body was degrading to a certain point, that there was enough that the water could get through, whatever. I mean, it sounds terrible, but I don't know. With it being delivered, okay, so you're talking about Uber Eats. Did they have time to get the apartment? And if it was delivered to the apartment or to Caleb where he was standing or someone else at the apartment? So it was, the Uber Eats was sitting at the apartment. So they never delivered to Caleb. Now, I always kind of thought, because when I did DoorDash, especially when I lived at my aunt's house, I would actually go out when I knew that they were going to be getting close, and just that way, because I know they're kind of getting paid by how quick they are, and so maybe he was just kind of out there waiting for the order, even though he had just ordered it, and it wouldn't come until 3:20, and whatever happened to him happened before 2:58. So it seems like the Uber Eats would have been just at the time of whatever happened to Caleb. They would have been probably at the store picking up his order. Again, that's just kind of speculation going off of what we know, or what's available as far as timeline goes. But again, another thing that's interesting is they did say, let me play this report one more time.
College apartments, the cottage. Part of the ongoing standing in front of is the Perry Place station, where, according to Police Chief Mike Markle, a city employee came across human remains yesterday around 3 p.m. Now, there is no evidence that suggests that this has anything to do with the disappearance of Caleb Harris. However, he was last seen at his college apartments, the Cottages, on March 4th, which is just walking distance from where we are right now.
Hey, Gustavo, good to see you, buddy.
Now, what I can tell you, we're going to walk you through what we know to be true. What we do have confirmed is that CCFD worked several hours until at least 1 in the morning trying to recover the remains. We can also confirm that this discovery led police to the Greenwood wastewater treatment plant, where they continue.
So they went to the treatment plant. So I wonder, again, that kind of goes on. Obviously, they'd probably interview, the people that discovered the remains, obviously. And then if there are surveillance cameras there, I would assume maybe that place there is where they keep their surveillance. So maybe, because they went there, because usually if they did an interview, you'd think they would bring them in to Corpus Christi, to the sheriff's office or whatever. But to go there, I wonder if they went there to also maybe obtain the surveillance footage.
Continued their investigation. We can confirm that Corpus Christi Water is part of the ongoing investigation, and because of that, declined to speak with us. We did reach out to them to learn how often these wastewater lift stations are checked. We also know that, according to Corpus Christi Police Chief Mike Markle, the remains are going to be sent to the University of North Texas, which is the missing persons clearinghouse for our state. As of today, it is still unclear how the remains ended up at this wastewater lift station or how long they've been here. Now, I can also confirm that I did speak with Caleb Harris's father, Randy Harris.
I think that manhole is a place that people know about, and someone put him there. You know what? I would not. That's a great possible scenario for sure. I mean, they found whoever went out and checked that manhole. They just, like I said, they did this. They went on the phone and was like, "Oh, hey, what the hell is this?" And this is right where he went missing. We should check that out. And then it appears that they discovered that there's this, open manhole, which, again, I'm going to play the audio of this first part. I mean, this is kind of creepy to think about, them talking about them hearing knocking. I doubt if in a scenario that it was an accident, he went in there March 4th, I doubt he'd be alive a month later. I don't know if you could drink sewer. I mean, you would have sewer water. I don't know if that would maybe
can't survive
keep you
without
going for a little bit more.
Well, there's a snake living on the side of the wall over here. I mean, come on.
Oh,
So
I went too far.
That might be him.
Sorry. I just wanted to play that beginning part one more time.
That might be him, Mom.
Wait, it might be him knocking?
Yes.
Could be.
Maybe.
And that's just weird. If you just kind of break it down to this core basic thing here, you know, you have Caleb going missing. It's been a month, and then they're here at this place, which is literally, again, like I said, very, very close to where he went missing. And then they're, you know, talking about they're hearing knocking. And it would be wild if this was him, and depending on, and if he ended up in here via accident or foul play, that would be pretty wild. And these, whoever this lady and her family is, kind of caught on to it pretty early. Gilherd, thank you, Chris, for your hard work. Hope your tooth is better. Yeah, tooth is feeling much better. I appreciate it. Can you clarify the manhole goes to sewage or rainwater? It is sewage, 100% sewage. We have the stormwater is parallel to it. This is sewage. Again, we did an overlay. This is not a storm drain. If you look up actually the basic sewer pipe, and I'm assuming storm drains probably are similar. But you can see that this is, they've got these two pipes that come in, and then you've got your main channel. You got an open area here, and then you've got water flowing. And water comes in through here as well, which helps kind of flow. So, and everything is, you know, kind of by gravity, and then that's what the lift station's for, is it, you know, goes to this lift station lifts the sewage water up to a higher elevation, so then gravity can start doing its work again. But would be wild if they were onto something all the way back then, you know. Maddie's mom gifting 1 Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much, Maddie's mom. Appreciate the support. That is so awesome. Cat in the Hat, good to see you. There's no evidence of a hit and run blood. Yep. Broken car parts. Did you see where they have him on camera by the bank? I have not heard that. I've heard some stuff about a bridge, but they said that the person that was by the bridge.
There's like an air pocket down there. Kind of like that Mr. Ballin video.
You think he's been down there for a whole month?
People can't survive.
So let me get back to your question. I wanted to finish it. The bridge, or the highway, I guess, really. I mean, it turns into a bridge. There was a sighting there, but they said that that person, even though the witness they felt was credible, they felt like that person had shoes on. So they don't believe that was Caleb. But a bank, I never heard anything about that. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, depending on how you fall. I mean, he could have went head first. I mean, you got to remember, it was a foggy night that night, and it looks like you could easily trip. Like, God, that would, I mean, gosh, I hate to think, but, you know, what if he accidentally went head first? I mean, just knocked himself out, or, you know. But again, I thought it was very interesting that this cone is there, so. And that is not a skull, for anybody that's wondering. I thought that was really weird. It looks like a skull, but it's, I think it's like a piece of plastic or something, but I don't know. JLH says first search would have found him. Maybe. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know all the searching. You would think that they would have covered that ground very thoroughly and would have known. So I do agree that, but I don't know if you could say that they would have found him for sure. I do searches, yes, jail arts, I do. So I'm not an expert, but yeah, I do searches. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if this ends up being what it's possible, again, I mean, really, you break it down to two ways that body's getting in there. Either it was brought in through the fence, either it had been unlocked or as a city worker. And if there's cameras, then, I mean, to me, it would be game over for if it was foul play, at least on that end of the spectrum. Not to say that he couldn't have maybe, I don't know why he would want to get into there. I mean, I've heard that this area, the part of the fence looked like you could like crawl under in one of the areas. I mean, sure, maybe he crawled under. I don't know why he'd drop down in a well. Just to me, I would lean more towards the foul play aspect. But again, if there's cameras there, then I would think that this would be pretty open shut case once they figure out, if the cameras were on and working. I guess that'd be another question. But again, I just don't think you can't discount this manhole and the fact that people have been, people have fell in manholes. There's tons of stories about them. So, and then the fact that his phone was destroyed, like turned off, but I think was probably destroyed. I think from that fall, that phone maybe could have been destroyed. I don't know. The water could have also, I mean, iPhones, I think we don't know what version he had as well. That would be scary to be stuck. Yeah, I mean, that's a terrible scenario if it is. But let me go to the poll. Again, I'm just shooting my theories. We have almost 400 votes. So seems like 75% of you think that this is Caleb Harris. Again, we don't know. 21% not sure. 2% say no. I'm going to end the poll there, but I think as more time goes on, I think that leans more towards it is Caleb. But I think the reason why it's going to take a while before we hear anything is that they're going to not only identify the body, but they're going to run the autopsy and probably release all that at the same time. As I said, they've searched there many times over. All I'll say, JLH, is just an experience with, and not just my experience, but just, in cases where people have searched many times for the missing, and then you have some random person come by, a hiker or whatever, and they find the body, and it's in a place that people had looked multiple times before. I mean, it's just a classic bulletin point for, missing 411. But again, I'm not an expert. I like to help people and help search. I'm not an expert in that. Joy Gibson, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate the adult conversation. But we don't know until they identify and label it. First we got to find out if it's Caleb, and then was there foul play. The fact that, sadly the body, the video that showed the body or the remains is out there. So be warned if you're going through Facebook groups for Caleb. That's how I came across it, but you know, the remains appeared to be whole, but it was tough to tell if it was the exact condition. So. Real Pocahontas, good to see you. The consumer CPSC reported approximately 5K manhole-related injuries annually in the U.S. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it's again, I think it's going to come down to those two scenarios. Either he was placed there, or he fell in, or was dumped down that manhole. Tammy says, I believe it was foul play. Yeah, they did say there was no obvious signs of foul play when they recovered the body, but again, that's just early reports, and I don't know if they would want to kind of freak out the public if it was the other way until they actually released the autopsy. Is it made of brick like an old well? No, this is a sewer line. This is a typical... I think we got a picture here. I have a better one than this one. So it's typical like this. Sometimes they're concrete. Sometimes they're brick. But this is a sewer line. We've determined that many days ago. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But again, I'd be just curious to know if this has been like this. How long has this manhole been open? Is this something that whoever owns this property leaves it open? I don't know if there's a benefactor to that. To me, it seems dangerous, again, because, you got to consider that night it was super foggy. There was car wreck. Was he kind of wandering across the street, maybe on his phone? People fall in manholes. I'm sure people have fallen in manholes because they're staring at their phone and then just walking, and, sadly a bad accident happens. But I do kind of lean towards foul play, though. But how the body got there still, it's a mystery. I would say with much hours as you've analyzed these cases that you are more of an expert than you claim. Very humble man. Great channel, Chris. I appreciate that, Tom. But yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not an engineer. But I do appreciate the comment. Why didn't they shut down? Obviously, we only have a 2-minute video. I mean, it seems like they were there. They were both down there kind of like taught.
What?
I think they were. And they did report this. So if anybody's wondering, they did report this. Now, the question is, did they do anything about it? We don't know. But she does say in the video, she's like, I'm going to contact the father, excuse me. So I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, though. Yeah, that's another thing they'll be able to determine. They should be able to determine how long the body, because if anybody doesn't know, the body was found in this area here. It's the well. The only two ways that this body can get in there is either through the pipeline here, which is the sewer line, or there's a grate. This one looked like it just had one, although this video shows two. But there's kind of these grates right here, and you lift them up. Now here it shows like there's this, like, I don't know if this is like supposed to be mesh or some kind of like extra layer of protection from whatever plastic. But the lift station there, it looked like it only had one of these, and it didn't have whatever this yellow it looks kind of like a mesh lining. It just had the lid. Now, I don't know if the lid is locked. Like, does it have a lock on it? I would assume but I don't know. But you would lift it up, and then it would just be this open thing here, and then of course the body's just kind of in there. Anyway, one last thing. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's donated towards the GoFundMe for Aiden Clune. We wanted to go this week, but with 4th of July and everything, everybody's kind of... sorry, I'm just trying to get to Aidan Clune here. Everybody's kind of schedule was kind of off, so we weren't able to go out this week. So we're kind of looking. Plus, Ty needs to get a part for his truck, so we're kind of hoping he gets that because we don't want to break down. We've already had that twice now. But for anybody who's not familiar, we've been searching for Aidan Clune. He went missing in Wells, Nevada. I'm just going to go over this real quickly and then finish up. But he went missing April 27th, 2022. This is kind of northeastern Nevada. We've been searching for him for 2 years, not just me, but many others. But recently, was it been like 3 weeks ago, we finally found the first physical evidence ever in this case since he went missing, and that was his shoes. We found his pair of shoes out there. We've done a lot of work, lot of searching, a lot of ground search, a lot of drone search, all the above, miles and miles covered. And so we were able to find his shoes. We thought we would find something close by to his shoes, but we didn't. But we feel like he is out there. We just have to cross off a few other areas that we've, some pockets that we have missed as far as the search goes. But yeah, we're really happy with what we've been able to at least get this case back on its feet. They were supposed to bring out some cadaver dogs, but we haven't heard anything about that, which really bums me because I really think if they brought a cadaver dog out, if he's there, they would find him, but we haven't heard anything, so that's really such a bummer for the family. So that means we're gonna have to go out there and finish it and bring him home. So that's what we're planning to do. Again, we have a GoFundMe. It's in the description if you'd like to support. But for those that have donated, thank you so much. And I promise you, if he's out there, we are gonna bring him home. And I really feel like it could be this month. We just kind of got to find the right days where it's not so hot and everybody's schedule kind of lines up. So, but it will be very soon. Jack says, I think, yeah. I mean, another case, you have Gwen Brunel. They found her shoes, her body, 6 months later, they would find her remains 0.7 miles from her shoes. So in that kind of environment, terrain, for those that are familiar with this case, it's not very forgiving, especially in April. It gets very cold very quickly, and without the proper equipment and provisions, unfortunately, you wouldn't last out there. So we're going to bring him home. We know it's just got to do a little bit more pounding the pavement, as you would say. But yeah, we've crossed off a lot of areas, and I think there's 2 areas. I don't think I have it in this video here, do I? I don't. But there's 2 areas that we're focused on, and we believe that one of those 2 areas he could be there. So, thank you, Cat in the Hat. For the members and Patreons, I've been working on some videos. I should hopefully have it ready maybe tonight, tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are so amazing. We'll probably try to cover some other stories. I know we've been kind of covering this a lot. I hate to kind of beat a dead horse, but I did want to show that footage from them with the manhole. I thought that was really, really interesting because just to me, it seems like they've been out there at least twice, and that manhole is open. And like somebody said, that people, I mean, if it was foul play, they could have dumped him down in there. And then just through time, he traveled through. Again, just speculation. A registered Texas civil engineer said on Facebook that it would be unlikely he made it to the lift, and that he put in there. Natalie, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean that it was unlikely that they took him to the lift itself and dropped him in, or that he flew through the pipes? Kind of curious to know. I've heard, I've had alleged engineers say that it is possible, but, just kind of depends on the remains. So, research a local cadaver dog service and send me the contact, please. Oh, Tom, that's awesome, buddy. Yeah, I'll have to get with the mother on that. I do appreciate your support, Tom. Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, we're gonna finalize the other case. Now he says he was put in there. Yeah. Either way, prayers for the family. Of course, I can't imagine what they're going through. And then I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the show. We might be looking into the Sarah Boone case. I know that she's going to be going to court. And there's another case. I can't think of it, but yeah, we'll probably transition to another case unless, something. Of course, we'll keep an eye on this case because we've covered it a lot, and really hope that, whatever happens, that the family gets answers and justice if need be. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Real. If he's out there, we're gonna do it. We are gonna do it. And we won't be able to do it with you guys. So, thank you to my wonderful mods, Karen, Jennifer, D, Jocelyn, Copper Horse, and I always forget somebody, Jennifer, Karen, and Copper Horse, D, and Michaela. So I appreciate all the mod support. You guys are awesome. We'll have a special members live Sunday, unless we go out again. I'm not sure exactly. Sometimes it's kind of last minute when we go out for Aiden, but if we don't go out this weekend, we'll have a members live Sunday and then be back Monday. So. This is a horror movie. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a strange, yeah, for a body to end up in there. I mean, yeah, it is pretty wild, sadly. I agree. No, it has not been confirmed yet, so probably another few weeks, I'm assuming. So I go. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and then members will see us Sunday, and we'll be back Monday. All right, love you guys.